Hi, boys and girls, and welcome to the Brick Show 2020. All right, so if you have brick walls or you want to put one in, you might be wondering how to do it. Well, it's my job to show you how. So right here, tools you're going to need: a wadded up piece of paper towel. Keep it kind of dry. We're just trying to get texture with that. Trying to get texture with that. And then, in addition to that, what we're going to do is use only bright brushes. That's the flat ones. All right, so with the brick, when I put this on there, I'm gonna mix up some base coats. And you don't wanna mix a puddle of paint. You wanna change color all the time. I'll try a little bit of orange. I'll do this section right here. It's kind of thin, so it's gonna take you a few coats to actually get it going. And white can kind of help get rid of some of that translucent nature of the paint. I'll cover this guy too. All right, so right now I'm doing a clean edge here. One color more or less. I'm holding the brush kind of further back so I can get in there and get a lot of brush strokes in. More tan. And what you want to do is you don't want to have the wall all the same color. In other words, you want to keep changing color all the time. Do a little more brown over here. I'll dip in a little bit of burnt umber. Got a little burnt umber over here. Tip in a little bit of red. And if you see how bright the red is, it looks like a cartoon. So I'll come over here, I'll do little splashes of red around it. And this is a base coat, so, but what I want to do is mix this up, so I want it to disappear, so I don't really see all the red, so I'm going to change that. So watch this, I'm going to skip from here, move all the way down here. That way the wall is constantly changing color. Rather than changing color right next to each other, I'm going in there and I'm actually just kind of putting the colors on and then changing my location of the brush, so it looks like I'm changing color more than I am. It's a tricky way to paint faster and get things done. All right, so right now all my brush strokes are very small. You don't want to do any brush strokes like that. And in general, when you're painting stuff, this is in 2-point perspective. If you're painting things in 2-point perspective with bricks or whatever you're doing, your brush stroke should be going this direction toward the vanishing point or straight up and down. So I'll fade that out. So when I'm doing that, I'm kind of coming in there, different directions. And right now, this is kind of a pasty color. I'll bring that all the way over here. And then I'll go. I don't think I'm gonna have time for the skin show today. All right, so this is back to the burnt umber again. Over here, so you can see it's like just gradually getting those layers of paint. And I would say the biggest key here is like the small strokes. Let me get a little hard edge up here. All right, the small strokes, this is a really long stroke, so now I'm gonna hide it. I'll get a little orange, go up right to the top. So I use that one singular stroke to get it like a base on it. And now I'll go in and watch this. I have some colors going on here. I could add just almost like a pure white, then have that blend in to make it more opaque and less saturated. You gotta be careful. If you add too much white, though, it looks kind of funny because it'll look kind of pink and weird. I mean, pink's not weird, but pink bricks would be kind of weird. All right, so if this was my project, I would be spending a lot of time just doing layers on this. I'll like speed it up here a little bit because I do want to get on to the rest of the show. And this is only the base coat. So see how saturated the orange is? Really saturated. But I don't care if I'm gonna go over it. So I'll do a little bit of orange here. I'll come over here with a little bit of orange. Now I gotta get rid of that pure orange. I'm gonna do that using like yellow ochre. I could do it with that. I could do it with a little bit of red, browns. So it's like a party of colors. Now I'll add a little tint. Add a little white in there. Now it's starting to cover really well. So now my underpainting, you don't really see it that much anymore. Small strokes. I do have some orange. I have some, so I don't want like pure orange though, so it's gonna be more brown. And you might be thinking this is a little too orange. The reason why I'm guessing that, because that's exactly what I'm thinking. It's like, hey man, this is for brick, that's kind of orange, isn't it? Yes, it is. Burnt sienna is another good color. Burnt sienna is right here. It's kind of like a darker brown. like a reddish brown, so it's kind of nice with the bricks. Now I'm going over all the colors I did with some of this burnt sienna. So over here as well, so you can see, then step back every once in a while and see if you're liking the colors or you're not, or wherever you're at. So now it's kind of a reddish brown, so now it's starting to look like a natural brick. And then, do I have enough color changes? Answer is yeah, but right here it's a little too orange for my liking. I'll come in there. You notice I'm not using any black. Like this is just burnt umber. And then that'll get me some darker values as they come down here. So I'll go darker on the brick as it comes down. So think about your values when you're doing your walls. Like in general, you want to go like light to dark down there. If you do, you just need to make sure you're using like more of the burnt umbers. Could do a little black and red. But the most important part is the small brush strokes I'm using. So I'm painting kind of fast. Like I got the whole wall done almost in just a few minutes. However, my strokes, to be able to do that fast, I'll show you my strokes, slow motion. Here's slow motion painting bricks. Small stroke, back, tap, tap, blend, pip, pop. And so it's kind of like that, so but faster. So when I'm doing that, I'm just like tapping the brush strokes on, running it around. And so some of these areas are pretty good. So I like that area the best, probably that little more yellow side. And you can change color pretty easy when you're done. I can show you how to do that as well. Okay, so for now, I'm gonna call that done for now. And then I'll go over it again later. So for this show though, this is gonna be Brick Show Part 1. Now I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so you can see it better. Zoom in. All right. Zoom. Oh, there we go. All right, so I zoomed in a little bit so you can see it better. Now, this is gonna be going from loose to tight. All right, so you might be wondering what the hell I'm talking about. Loose to tight, so we have a base over the whole thing. Now what I'm gonna do is it's kind of like hair. Remember when we did hair, we did like big chunks of hair, then we did smaller and smaller. Same with this. So I'm gonna add like a slightly different color. Then you might wanna do, if you have like a big surface like this, you may wanna have like a ruler and give yourself some guidelines where the vanishing points are, so you know your bricks are lining up. So what I'm painting now is like a patch of bricks. It's a big patch, I'll blur it out. Then I'll do a slightly different color. Over here, same techniques. And so what I'm doing is slowly getting more depth to it. And then, but the brush strokes are really important to have geometric edges now. So before it was kind of sloppy. Now I'll do a light one here so you can see it better. Now my brush strokes are going to the vanishing point. That's like a solid brick, but where's my water container? Anyway, so then you're gonna like fade it out a little bit. So watch this. You won't really see a brick when I'm done. I'll get rid of the brick. However, you can still see some of those brush strokes in there representing the brick. That's the part I was talking about going loose to tight. And we'll skip around, that way people don't go, hey, you don't have enough of the colors in there. Like here's more red. I'll do red and burnt sienna. Nice brick color. Burnt sienna and red's pretty good. Don't use pure red though. And if you're using red, you gotta make sure you have like almost no white on your brush. If you have white, it'll turn out really pink. And you have like these weird pink bricks. All right, so each section I'm doing right now represents about like maybe 8 or 10 bricks. So 8 or 10 bricks there. And then I'm gonna go back over some of those pink ones. Pink ones are kind of embarrassing. All right, so now I'm just gonna earth those up a little bit. Then here I'll do a little section. Another little patch over here. And I'm starting to show my perspective. My lines are kind of going back and forth over there. All right. And that looked like too much of a single brick. All right, so I'm slowly getting like the kind of a brick look to it. just by doing patches. And technically, you can almost leave it like this. That would be an A and you'd be done. Depends on how realistic you want it. I'm gonna go over some lighter bricks now. So over here in the top, I'll take the yellow ochre, mix it up a little bit of white. Then I'll get, like, this is kind of a darker area, so I'll add some lighter patches. Once again, using that brick formation. Vanishing point, straight up and down. Straight up and down, vanishing point. All right, so that's phase two. Got the base coat, got some of the chunks of the bricks, and then once again, you could leave it like that, and that could be pretty much done. All right, so now what you want to do, this is the trickier part. And if you want to go more detail, get a brush that's about the right size of a brick, and all you're going to do is like stab it right there, pull it down a little bit, and then leave it. I'll show you again. I'll do right underneath, I'll go underneath it, pull it down, let it stay. I'll do 3 bricks next to each other right there. Then, if it's too obvious, like you don't want to see all the bricks, so don't have a bunch of bricks where you can see the entire perimeter. So you gotta like tap it out a little bit and blur it. Because you don't want to be sitting here doing all these bricks. That would drive you crazy. Here's another brick, straight up and down, straight up and down. And I'll come over here to this section. And when you're putting the detailed bricks, straight up and down, overlap, cutting down a little bit. And now I'm being a lot more careful with where I put the bricks. All right, so I'll come over here. This is kind of a mess. And I like to put the single bricks over the parts I like the least. Like this section. All right, so I got 2 little individual bricks. And I'll come over here to another one. And then now maybe I'll do a dark brown brick to put in that same patch. What? Are you kidding me? And then now that I have that dark brown, I could put maybe 3 of those over here. And you can see how I'm skipping around. Now those 3 are too obvious, too easy to see all 3 of them. I'm gonna blur this one out just by tapping it like 3 times. Maybe tap the side of this one twice. Now it fades it out, so your brain is starting to make you think that this is well-painted bricks, when most of the bricks suck. You just have a few good ones, and then your brain will kind of connect them. I'll go some light ones over here. I have a dark area, so up here, the lighter ones will show. Vanishing point, vanishing point, vanishing point, and straight up and down. Now mix, and it's kind of fun at this point. I would use the word heck of fun. Then I'll go over here. But see how you can see each individual brick on this phase? So you don't want to be able to see them that much, it's too obvious. So spit on your finger a little bit, tap, tap again. So blur them out so you don't want them to look too gimmicky. I'll do the same thing over here. I'm almost ready for some different color bricks. And you don't want to put too many bricks on though. Like I probably am almost. And blur them out. You don't want a bunch of individual bricks you can see too well. Okay. Now that could be done, that could be an A. But wait, there's more. I'm gonna take a small round brush now and I'll pimp out a few of these things. I'll show you that. So I'm gonna take this small round brush right here. I'm gonna dip it into dark brown and black. Dark brown, black. Woo, we're almost out of time. All right, so then I could go in there and I could do, like there's a little level here, little line kind of thing coming in here. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's from the second story. Then you come in and do some lines underneath the bricks and show them, like here there's no bricks, right? But if I just do a small outline of one, it'll look like the brick is actually there. Come over here, here's another brick that doesn't exist. 2 lines on that. And I'll go to bricks that do exist, like that one. I'll just put like a line underneath it. over here, same thing. And you can make that as realistic as you want, the more detail you put in there. Then you can even do graffiti or something on top of it. That could be kind of cool. But look at all the colors though, tons of colors. And if you don't like that color, there's ways you can do that after it dries. Go over it with a glaze, and I'll show you that. And that will be part of the magic show called Bricks Part 2, 2020.